Now, if you or a loved one are suffering from a potentially fatal disease, you'd hope that your doctors would pick up on it to give you the most appropriate care as soon as possible. But that didn't happen for one young woman from Nottinghamshire. Ruth Braddock lost her daughter, Danielle Sutton, on Boxing Day 2 years ago. She was just 24. And the doctors misdiagnosed her kidney disease, which ultimately led to kidney failure. Now her mum is determined to prevent the same trauma from happening to another family, and she's set up a charity, Danielle's Flutterbyes, to help to stop more young sufferers from slipping through the medical system. Sharon Banga is the lawyer who secured compensation for the family following the misdiagnosis, and she's worked closely with Ruth and the charity.
The problem with kidney failure is that it can be associated with a lot of conditions, and we're very confident if we can get to the right people and give them the right education that we can make a difference. What we're hoping to do is targeted education, not just within the healthcare profession but also with young people themselves. There's a gap of knowledge as to the common symptoms of kidney failure, and we'd like to educate people to enable them to ask their doctors themselves for the correct tests to check themselves out. And really it's a simple case of either a urine test or a blood test depending on the symptoms that the patient is presenting.
Well, there is actually some new research which is being published today, and it shows that in the East Midlands 74% of young people between 18 and 45 have never seen or been given any information on the disease by their GP, something that Ruth Braddock is hoping to change. Ruth, good morning.
Good morning.
Just explain what happened to Danielle first.
In 2010, she became very sad, lonely and sort of sullen, tired, lethargic, and I got her to see a routine nurse, to which she had an emergency blood test. That evening, on the 28th of April of 2010, she had to have a blood transfusion. And by midnight we was told that she was at end-stage renal failure, which means that your kidneys are completely dead. From then on, it was the most scariest couple of months till she got used to things. But she had to go on dialysis. And for that kind of thing to happen to a young lady that, like Danielle was, very socialite, very outgoing, to become very restricted on dialysis, where she had to be like on 4 hours every other day, losing her job, losing a few friends, losing her power of going out and enjoying herself. She became very more dependent on me.
It's an awful situation, isn't it? And the thing, though, with kidney disease is that the symptoms, it seems early on, they're not obvious, are they, straight away? So what symptoms did Danielle have before she was diagnosed?
She became very lethargic and very irritable, and I know that she's always had a bit of an attitude, which would put her in good stead for all this that happened. And she was being sick, and as a mum, I didn't know anything about kidney failure in youngsters, and as a mum I thought that she may have an eating disorder. I did take her to the doctor on 2 or 3 occasions. My daughter walked out of the doctor's because he wouldn't even give her a blood test. Had he have done so, yes, he couldn't have prevented the disease at that time, but she may have been able to have come to terms with it a little better than crash landing a couple of months later.
So it's not it couldn't perhaps have saved her life?
No, it wouldn't have saved her at that point. It may have altered things had she have been told a year before that she had the onsets of kidney failure, but she was not told that. This is why the lawyer Sharon Banga went and got clinical negligence for her. And
you want things to change, don't you? And that
oh, yes.
Raising of awareness isn't just about doctors, it's also about parents, isn't it, too? And about, you realising what your symptoms actually are. What do you want to achieve?
I want to prevent another parent from going through what I went through, because I looked after my daughter for 5 years. But she became very, very dependent on me. Even though she maintained her own flat, which was marvellous, she really relied on me. And when she died, I felt so redundant. I felt so angry at the fact that she went through this misdiagnosis, and it's such a simple thing for a doctor to just think, oh, this young person's been not feeling well for quite some time. Let's do a simple blood test, because that would definitely show that you've got the onsets of kidney disease. And it doesn't just happen in older people. It happens very much in young people. And young people need to sort of learn about their kidneys, maybe be more educated at school, to learn how important their kidneys are, because when you have kidney disease, there is actually no cure for kidney disease. You can prolong your life by having another kidney, but eventually you will always end up back on dialysis and that kind of thing. So there is no cure.
Ruth, thanks for explaining more. Ruth Braddock on BBC Radio Nottingham, talking more about the charity that's now been set up in Danielle's name.